Hello everyone! So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I figured this would be really fun. So today we're going to be ranking every single Gen 3 horse in Star Stable. Not every single one because that list would get way too big. Um, so this is how it's going to work. Obviously I'm sure everyone has seen a tier list before. S tier is like this is immaculate, A, B, C, D, E. Like C is like middle of the road, you know. And F is like this is awful. So we're going to be rating these horses in terms of two things. One is going to just be realism and accuracy to the real breed, and the other thing is going to be did Star Stable do a good job at expressing the traits that make the horse unique? Like, does this horse actually have a place in Star Stable? Does it have a unique identity? So, starting off, we have the Lipizan. This one I I don't know why we had to start out so strong. The Lipizan, in my opinion, they did such a good job, and it is the only horse that Star Stable went back and they corrected one of their animations. They corrected the. It's slipping my mind right now what it's called. I think it's a piaffe, the special trot that the horse does. So it used to pick up its feet and then slam it down, so it would do like a half of a half circle. But now they have it to where it'll step out and do a whole like semicircle with its back feet, and that's good because when they just picked up their foot and then slammed it down, that was a sign of abuse. And Star Stable listened to the audience and they made this horse immaculate. That's an easy S tier. That's starting strong. Okay. Triconor. So the Triconor is interesting. I hate how this image got cut off. This poor guy's little face. Um, the Triconor was a horse that came out. I had taken a break from Star Stable, not a long break, but I'd taken a little break from Star Stable because I was in between devices and my old computer broke. When I came back, Triconor was one of the ones that I was super excited for. I got one like the day they came out. Um, it was when Gen 3 was really starting to have an identity of its own. Previous Gen 3 horses, such as the Clydesdale and the Connemara, you can tell they're Gen 3, but like they're early Gen 3, kind of like a Gen 3, Gen 2 kind of mix. So this was the first one where Gen 3 started to take their shape and their theme, you know. So for that, it is going to get bumped up, but in terms of uniqueness to the breed, like they don't do anything special. There's not really much you can pull from them that's like unique. Um, Little fun fact, Star Stable trivia: Loretta's horse was originally a gray, like Jorvik Warmblood. Then they changed it to a Triconor, and since then they changed it to a Dutch Warmblood. I don't know why they changed it again, but it was a Triconor for the longest time. Um, there's not really anything unique about this guy, and honestly, it's so similar to the Jorvik Warmblood that I'd be shocked if people could tell them apart. Um, so for that, I think it is going to stay in C. I mean, there's nothing particularly special about it, but yeah, C. And I might update this list later on. So, Icelandic. Now, the Icelandic pisses me off, not because it's bad, but because of a horse in this list that you can probably see right now that you know I'm gonna hate. Um, the thing that makes me mad about the Icelandic, this poor image, it's you can't really see it that well, but the Icelandic is really cool, and I do like the way Star Stable did it. They made it very unique. The fact that they gave it a a tolt and a gated run is amazing to me. The fact that they made it do that, it shows that they can replace animations that they didn't do for certain other horses that it should have been done for. Um, I think this one was really good. Um, I don't like the set that it was introduced with. It was introduced with low noseband bridles, and I hate bridles with a low noseband because it sits on the horse's little tiny pin bones and on the cartilage, and it's not good for the horse. So I'm not gonna take that against it, but I hate low noseband or drop noseband bridles. They're awful. Um, but for the Icelandic, for like there, this is a horse that you can pick out anywhere. Like if you see an Icelandic, you know it's an Icelandic. Um, for that, I think I think we might have to go. I'm between A and S. We might just have to go S tier with them. I'm gonna save S tier for the best of the best. We'll put him in A, but he might pop up. Okay. The Gotland. Hey guys, editor Clarice here. Yeah, the image I'm looking at is not a Gotland. It's actually the Shinkatig pony. It goes to actually prove my point that there's not too much about them, that they're not very recognizable. I correct myself later, so before you go type in, that's not actually a Gotland, don't worry. It takes me a minute, but I get there. The Gotland pony, it's tiny and it's a pony. I mean, I'm gonna be really honest. I Is it accurate to a real Gotland? Maybe. Does it do anything? No, it doesn't have any special things to it. Um, I I could not tell you anything unique about the Gotland from Star Stable other than the fact that it's a small pony. Um, Honestly, between C and D, if it's a C, it's lower than the Triconer, but I don't think it's quite worthy of a D tier. I mean, maybe it is. Yeah, you know what? It's a D tier. It's a it's a Gotland. I don't know. A Calteke. So there are very unique things about this horse. I think it does a good job. Um, I did do an Akalteke review. I don't think Star Stable did the best job, but they did okay. Um, it's a slender desert horse that doesn't come with a mane, but you can give it mane, which I don't really agree with, but whatever. Um, it's just a beautiful build. It's good for running. They have that shiny coat to them. They don't do any special animations, but they really don't need to. I'm thinking Triconer, or sorry, Akalteke. I'm looking at the Triconer. I'm thinking Akalteke is either low A or high B. Um, we'll put it in B for now, and the reason I'm saying B is because although yes, it was depicted okay, um, it is recognizable, but it doesn't do anything to stand out. I don't think Star Stable did too much to make this horse stand out. Okay. I hate that all these images got cut off. I swear they weren't cut off when I downloaded them. Um, this is the Hanoverian. I already did my review of the Hanoverian. I'm gonna be honest. I'm putting it exact. We have one in each category. Nice. Um, they aren't represented well at all. They look like every other warm blood in the game right now. Um, the Hanoverian has taken home gold in every single competition in the Olympics before, like, well, that's an exaggeration, but they bring home gold all the time. They are a beloved breed in Germany. They can do so many things. They are harness horses. You can jump, dressage, cross country, eventing, western if you want to. I haven't really seen them in that, but I hear that there are people in America who have used them for western things and they've done very well. A Hanoverian can do literally anything you tell it to do. And the special animations they gave to the Hanoverian was the Selle Francais, like jump, uh, and the Mustang's buck. That was you sold them so short. Also, this is the hang on. I'm seeing the Gotland here. I just realized this isn't actually the Gotland. Let me just switch that really quick. Don't mind me. All right. Anyway, they it has no, why did you give it a buck? They aren't known to buck. They are known to be the most loyal and dedicated horses out there, and you're going to give it a buck? Like, that's so basic. I think Star Stable did a horrible job with the Hanoverian. I don't like how Star Stable represented them at all. Dutch Warm Blood. Star Stable is milking the Dutch Warm Blood for everything that it is worth. I think that out of all the horses in Star Stable, the Dutch Warm Blood has the most coat variations. It has magic variants. I'm pretty sure the Dutch is going to get even more. I saw spoilers for a new Dutch coat variant that's coming out. I don't think there's a point. They also had the issue where when they do their extended trot, they flick their feet. I did a review of the Dutch Warm Blood. It was very good. It starred one of my really, really good friends, Drew Swift Hunter. She and I did an amazing cover of these horses. I do think you should give it a watch. That and Rattle also. She covered the extended trot, flicking the feet abuse issue way better than I did. Rattle did a great job as well. All that to say, I don't have anything different to say about these guys other than it would be an amazing horse if you took out Star Stable's abuse that they just won't change. They changed it for the Lipizan, so why won't they change it for the Dutch Warmblood? I don't get it. And for that, because I hate FEI and what they do, this looks just to me screams like a horse that is FEI, so we're putting that in F. Might move it up to D, like bottom of D, once this list is more fleshed out, but I can't support an animal that is supporting abuse, because if you teach kids that toe flicking in horses is okay, then you're going to perpetuate the issue of people abusing horses, because kids practice what they learn, and they kids learn from Star Stable whether you want to believe it or not. So I cannot put this any higher. If they fix the issue and they take out the toe flick and the extended trot, easy A tier, easy. English thoroughbred. This one, I I don't even think they did a good job with its gallop animation. I'm not gonna lie. They don't throw themselves into the gallop as much as real thoroughbreds. Um, the model's really nice. I love their walk animation. Their walk animation is beautiful. I also hate how this program cuts off all of my images. I swear, I they didn't come with their faces cut off like this. Um, I it's unfortunate because the model is absolutely beautiful. I just think the animations sell them short. Um, so I think Thoroughbred is also going to have to sit either in C tier or D tier above the Gotland. One of those two. I can't decide. Um, I do think the Triconer has a little bit more involvement in Star Stable's story and how the game developed. I think the English Thoroughbred, yeah, we're going D tier, because the English Thoroughbred, like, it was beautifully done, but the animations just sold it short. It just doesn't have much. I feel like this horse could have been capable of so much more. The Jorvik Warmblood, the starter horse. I feel like they have to sit in C tier with the Triconer, just because, first of all, like, if you painted both of these completely white, you wouldn't be able to tell which breed's what, first of all. But I think this horse was based off of the Triconer, because the Triconer was out before these guys were updated. Yeah. So they do create the uniqueness of the game. This is like the face of Star Stable. It is the first horse that you see in the game. It is your companion until you buy another horse. And some people just don't. Some people just love to ride their starter horse. So I do feel like it has a big impact in Star Stable, and I feel like it is kind of iconic because of that. But it doesn't really do anything unique. I don't know. I think just because of its unique position in Star Stable, it's going to be at the top of B tier, just because, like, it you can't get more iconic in Star Stable than the Orvik Warmblood, and it's not a real horse, so it's not like I can judge it based off of realism. So because of that, we'll bump him up to B. Ah, the quarter horse. The quarter horse is amazing. Hands down, it's amazing. It is one of the most unique breeds. I could, if we had them in game and it didn't have its head up like this and it had its head down like it normally does in game, you could pick this horse out of a crowd instantly. I could black out all of these horses and give you just their silhouettes. You could pick out the quarter horse right away. They have the nice big butt. They're low in the front. They have that American, like, uniqueness to them. A lot of people complain that they're halter bred, which, sure, but that doesn't matter, because this is a game about horses that you want to express to kids uniqueness and differentness, and Star Stable did such an amazing, immaculate job with this horse. It does, like, it was the first horse to introduce the reining, the spins, the rollbacks. It can do the backing up really fast. It just carved the way for the Western riding in Star Stable. Western wasn't really recognized until the quarter horse came out. Um, my club and Cookie Canyon kind of pioneered the Western stuff before the quarter horse even existed, and then we got the quarter horse and we're like, oh my god, this is amazing. This horse is an easy top of S tier, best horse in the game. So unique. It it screams Star Stable, like, this is a Star Stable horse. It screams quarter horse. It's a quarter horse. They did perfectly with this horse. 10 out of 10. I can't see anything wrong with it. Marwari. The Marwari came out at an interesting time. It came out when they were redoing all of the Gen 3 horses, like from the older models, and Arabian was on the list of horses to be updated, and it wasn't updated at the point of the Marwari's release. Everybody was anticipating the Marwari, or sorry, everyone was anticipating the Arabian, and we got the Marwari, and everyone was confused. Um, the Marwari, it also is the only other horse with the Arabians and Pentavians that can wear the headpiece with like the decorative chest piece. The only horse in the game that has some form of like a collar piece. It's a beautiful tack set, but and I think they could have added more to that and done more with that, but Star Stable hasn't. I think that's a missed opportunity. But the Marwari itself, um, the Marwari is a breed from India that is used a lot of time in like dances and festivals and things like that. I it's very hard to say that I want them to represent the real Marwari because I mean, first of all, they did an okay job. I'm not going to deny that. I do feel like they definitely leaned more into wanting to dress them up for dressage and cater to the dressage community because this they were released around the time when that's all Star Stable was doing. Every single horse they released was for dressage to get as much money from their audience as possible. They were catering and pandering hardcore. Um, but besides that, the it's very hard to say I want them to look more and represent more like real Marwaris because Marwaris I think are one of the breeds that are abused the most because if you look at any pictures of Marwaris or any videos of Marwaris in India and Pakistan, they most of the time that I have seen them in their festival garb, they are bleeding. They're skinny. They're way too far underweight. There are videos of people riding them up and down the beach with these ginormous bits in their mouths, and they're like yanking on these horses' faces and really really hurting them. Like you can tell it. It just it. I don't think that they treat these horses very well. Um, I like. I don't know, cause like I feel like their existence in the game it's good to shed light on this breed and to bring it to life and to have more kids aware of the Murwari's existence because they're cool. Like the curly ears, they can uncurl their ears on like they can control their ear curl. Like isn't that crazy? They're cool horses, they really are. But I feel like it encourages kids to look into the Marwari, and when you look up real Marwaris in India and Pakistan and stuff like that, it's not hard to find really really disgusting instances of animal abuse. So I I like how Star Stable did it, but like them adding the festival garb to them as well, I just it seems like it's a gateway to to learning about that and exposing kids to that, and it's horrible. So I mean, this one's really hard to judge because of that. So if we just look at it in terms of the horse itself and the way it was represented, I'm gonna have to agree with everybody else. Like the bow is interesting for it to be that animation because like it all still ties so heavily back to how they're abused. I they weren't really received well from what I recall. I hear a lot of people being like, "Oh, making the bows, um, shedding a light on how they're abused and stuff like that." Which, after I've looked into it, I kind of agree. So I'm gonna go D tier. Just fix this. This is I don't want to touch this. That's yeah. On a much better note, the American saddlebred. Okay, they trot, and that's really going to bring it down for me. I feel like if they did not trot, actually no, that's I'm going to save that comment for the walking horse. Saddlebreds do trot, so Star Stable was able to get away with this. So they're a racking horse though, and they rack beautifully, and they do the special gait. They do a beautiful pleasure gait, and it's interesting. So when you ride Western and you neck rein, you always hold the reins in your left hand, so you have your right hand free, because your right hand is your dominant hand. It's the hand you use to shoot and to lasso. So for Star Stable to make your left hand to be the one that you don't control the horse with and you have your left hand free, that's a song by the way, good song. Um, it implies that our characters are all left-handed. So I mean that's a little weird. They have that a little backwards. But I'm not going to hold that against the horse. That's Star Stable and their animation. Um, I think they're amazing. I think that Star Stable did a really really good job with these guys. I did my review on the saddlebreds. I think they're fantastic. Um, I think that they were represented well. They fit in with the game super well. They're unique. Um, when you see them go, they have such a beautiful animations to them. I think that they really did highlight the uniqueness of this horse. Do I think it's an S tier though? Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna say top of A. Yeah, we'll do that. All right. Welsh pony. The Welsh pony is a very interesting one. I think they did a good job. They did take the little rear from the Arabian kind of, and I don't really know why they did that. Other than that, like they're a cute little pony. They jump. They do whatever. I They do have a very unique body style to them. They are unique compared to the other ones. Um, there's nothing particularly crazy special about them, but I think Star Stable did a good job. Bottom of B. I don't have too much to say. The Shire. I think the Shire was very well done. I think that the use of the lie down animation is extremely overused. At the point of the Shire's release, it started with the Jorvik Wild Horse. That was the one where it started, and that was the unique one. And then after that, it was the Finnish horse, which I believe just had no effort put into it at all. And then it's the Shire, and now it's like all kinds of other stuff. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so the Shire, there were so many horses that now have the lie down animation, and I feel like every other horse in the game now has the ability to like lie down or sit down in some way, so I don't really meh. But for the rest of it, like again, very unique. It's a big um draft horse, so it's kind of hard to not make them unique. Um, I'm between B and A because they um they don't need anything too special. They look amazing. They all the coats that Star Stable's given them have been amazing. They're just ugh, it's so hard to choose. Um, we'll go with A. I think they're pretty good. Pentavian. I what's to say about the Pentavian that you can't say about the Arabian, which we haven't reviewed yet. I don't know where the Arabian is in this list. Arabian, where's the Arabian? Am I stupid? Am I stupid? No, I'm not stupid. Yes, I am stupid. It's right here. Okay. You know what? We're gonna cheat and we're gonna move the Arabian to the top of the list because I feel like the Arabian and the Pentavian are basically the same thing. Let's do Arabian first. A little bit of cheating, but whatever. The Arabian. They did a really good job on the model. The animations are beautiful. I love its trot. The trot is very pretty. Um, so the Arabian is interesting. It caused a little bit of controversy when it came out because the Arabian is a desert horse. There are two subspecies of Arabians. There is the Egyptian Arabian and the Polish Arabian. Why Arabians, which you'd think are from Saudi Arabia, are in Poland? I don't know. But those are the two delineages. And so Star Stable puts out this Arabian, and it was back when if you went to Dino Valley, you had to have a horse that could survive in cold weather. They made this a cold weather horse, and everyone was like, why? It is an Arabian. It's in the desert, right? And then they just removed the cold feature altogether so everyone can be in the cold. So I just thought that was so funny. Um, and Star Stable just wanted to sell more Arabians. I don't know. So the Arab, I think it was very, very well done. It's very unique. It has the dish face, but it's not too dished because that's a thing where people are breeding for the dish face, and it's actually reducing their ability to circulate airflow. Um, but it's not too dramatic. The tail carriage is up, like you can tell it's an Arabian. It has like the small body, long legs, the high tail carriage, the dish face. I think they did a really good job. It's going to be no lower than B, but beyond that, they do like the rear and stuff like that, which I don't really know if that's unique to Arabians or if it's a little trick that they do. I think it might be. Um, it's really hard to do an Arabian wrong, honestly. So you know what? I'd have to put it in A too, just because it's so recognizable. It's an Arabian. Now the Pentavian it's kind of the same thing but spotted. Like they did nothing different with the Pintabian, and like this is a Rabicano, and then this is a Pinto. And honestly, sometimes I'd confuse this for a Pintabian because the patterns, like I don't know why they didn't just. I understand why they did it different. That's like calling a that's like calling a Frisian sport horse a Frisian. It's not because Frisians can't come in any other color except black and sometimes red when there's a an issue with their genes. But I I guess B, because like I don't want to put it in the same tier as this because it's not unique enough. It's literally the same exact model, same everything, just with different coats and a different name. So I just should I bump it down to C because of that? I don't know. There's just really nothing different or unique to this horse, so I kind of want to marry it to the Arabian, but like I guess just C because there's nothing unique about it. It's like it's the same thing. I don't know. I don't really think it's worthy of being considered a different horse, but it kind of is. I don't know. We're just putting it in C. Next up is the Zoni. I remember when this was introduced, the Jorvik pony had just come out, or the Jorvik starter pony for some reason, had come out, and in the poll they had a vote to see who wanted what to like make your own pony, right? For some reason, everybody or the vast majority of people voted for it to be a typical, very standard paint pattern, and zebra stripes were within the options that didn't win. And there was one girl who got extremely passionate about it and was like, "Oh my gosh, I wanted to have a zebra in my horse game." And she made a huge petition on Instagram to get this into the game. And eventually Star Stable listened and they added the Zoni. I love this little thing just because of the unique way it came about and that it came out in a time when Star Stable did listen to its audience very well, and it was great. So, obviously, we can't do any connection to realism. It's also kind of magic. It was created by Yurgis and has like a magic spot on his head there. His cut off head because these images suck. Um, but yeah, so I can't really say anything to that. But as for uniqueness, um, extremely unique. Like, look at this little guy. I think his pattern's amazing. Vega is another one like him, like the white version. I think both of these guys are great. I think top of B. This is as high as I can give it. He's great. The moment we all have been waiting for. This horse, bottom of F. Easy. The Tennessee walking horse is such a disgrace to the real horse. It's awful. The model's not too bad. The colors are above and beyond crazy. Granted, Tennessee walking horses can come in a very wide variety of colors. They are one of the most uniquely colored horses in the world. But this is a bit far. I've never seen a horse with a pattern like that on a walking horse. Oh my god. The Icelandic came out before the Tennessee walking horse. The Icelandic proved that Star Stable was capable of switching out gaits and making gaits unique. The Icelandic was before it. Icelandic did not have a standard canter. It has the the tolt or the rack, whatever, flying pace. That's what they call flying pace. Um, so that has the flying pace. So clearly, Star Stable has the ability to switch out gaits. And yet, they still made the Tennessee walking horse trot, even though the whole purpose of the Tennessee walking horse, the only reason that this breed exists, was because in the South, they bred the plantation horse that was for plantations, and the whole purpose of the horse was to be able to go really fast between rows of crops without stepping on them. Tennessee walking horses are one of the only horses in the world that has a tightrope walk. It can put one foot directly in front of the other and not step on crops. They are amazing. They are so historically significant to America, and they are like the truly American horse. I cannot think of any horse more American than this. Not even the quarter horse. This is the pinnacle of the US. The breed became its own thing in 1863 with the birth of Black Allen. For those of you who don't know your history, 1863 was like kind of halfway through the Civil War. The Civil War was from 1861 to 1865 April, right? So it was like bam in the middle, right? And they became a thing. Um, the whole point, they also like they were used for everything. Walking horses, they could pull cabs, they could work on the ranch, as in like for the field master's horses. They were trail horses. They were the women's horses when the women who weren't allowed to ride because like women couldn't have anything between their legs. That's unpure. Not even a horse, you know. Before it became standard for women to ride traditionally, like with one leg on either side of the horse, you know, like you normally ride, when they rode side saddle, Tennessee walking horses were amongst one of the most used horses for that because of how smooth they are and amazing they are because they do not trot. It's a 4 beat lateral gait. There is so much history to this horse, and Star Stable just fumbled so bad. They didn't even care. They probably watched one video on a horse doing a running walk and put that as their special gait and didn't look into it any further than that. It's just, I can't. Star Stable failed so hard with this one. And I mailed them so many times with ideas, like way before Star Stable. I messaged them about making a Tennessee walking horse back in 2015. So, like, I. Ugh, this one could not have disappointed me any more than it did. This is the worst of the worst. If I could put it, it'd go back here. Or, you know what? There. That's where this belongs. Below F tier. As much as I want to do that, I don't think I can because now I have to scroll to see my other horses. So, we're putting him back up here, but just know that this is the tier it actually belongs in. The North Swedish horse. So, this horse, um, it was one of the early Gen 3 horses, again, when Star Stable was truly learning their identity and making the horses unique. Um, there isn't much to this horse. It doesn't have any special gaits or special movements or anything, but it is one of the first horses that helped Star Stable carve its own identity. Um, I think it's a beautiful design. I think that it holds up even today. It holds up with the rest of the Gen 3s. Um, I think it's very well done. I think that for the game to be Swedish, it's very good to represent the country that this game is from. But beyond that, there's really not that much else to say. So I think we're gonna go top of C tier. I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Um, because I can't really see it being any higher. All right, the Jorvik starter pony with a cut-off face because these images suck. Perfect. Um, the Jorvik starter pony is also interesting. So these ponies, when they first launched into the game, Star Stable did its thing where it was scamming kids and it basically told everybody, hey, these ponies are only going to be 350 star coins for a short amount of time, and then they're never going to be that price again, so get them now. Hey, it's editor Clarice here. So I went into Star Stable and I looked at the ponies. They no longer say this. I think that Star Stable removed that at some point, and now they're always going to be 350 star coins. Um, I'll try and find somewhere where I originally saw it, but I remember when they first came out, I was scammed into buying one because they said buy now because they're never going to be only 350 star coins ever again. They're awesome for like a unique horse to Star Stable. They're very iconic, I think. I think if you looked at that again, you'd be able to tell right away that this is a Star Stable horse. Um, However, I don't know that I don't know that this is one that you could like put very high on this list just because again, it's one of those ones that like you can't say that it's realistic because it's its own thing. I do think they are very fat. So the problem with ponies like cute fat little pony, yay, oh my gosh, they're so cute. The thing that this pony does that the others do not is the Gotland, which granted it is a more wild breed, so it makes sense that it's not. Same with the Dartmoor, the Chincoteague. None of these horses are fat, but that one is, and obesity is very bad in ponies. They can become obese extremely easily, and then they can get all kinds of health issues and complications due to it. So I don't think that portraying ponies in this way is healthy. I also have opinions about their model versus the Chincoteague. Personally, I think these two models should have been switched because I've been to Chincoteague and Assateague Islands. Um, the Chincoteagues are actually really fat. And it's not because they're actually fat, it's because the islands they live on, the water that they're drinking is the bay water from the Chesapeake Bay. It's brackish water, which means it has an extremely high salt content, and the high concentration of salt in their body plumps them up and makes them fat. So I think that this model is too skinny. Um, but I think that the skinny model would have been nice for a Jorvik pony to establish, hey, this is our quality of horses on Jorvik. We don't want them to be fat. We want them to be. This is how we want them to be portrayed. So for that, I mean, I'm gonna have to go D, top of D, because it's like, you know, at least with these C tier horses where it's like pretty average. This is run of the mill. It's like at least these horses aren't obese or portraying any health problems or health complications. And because this one represents abuse, I have to put it down here and like abusive things like that. I have to put it lower because of that. Anyway, so the Chincoteague, kind of what I said before. They drink seawater, so they are fat. So this is a not really a good representation of the Chincoteague pony. I think it was. It's not. This isn't what a Chincoteague looks like. Um, Yeah, I really don't think Star Stable did a good job with this one at all. I think bottom of D tier, like borderline F, honestly. Um, Borderline F tier because they I feel like they weren't portrayed that well. I don't feel like Star Stable did the best job with them. The what is this? This is a Lusitano. Yes, the Lusitano. The Lusitano is very interesting. So those of you who own Bark Heart or know what Bark Heart is, it is the magical Lusitano. And their Lusitanos were super popular in Eurydice's circus and Cantarella, I think, or that one chick who goes to the riding arena has a Lusitano. Beautiful horse, beautiful design. They came out pretty early into Gen 3 and they were top of the line. Like they were so amazingly well done. The only thing is the artist who made the Lusitano, I can't remember what happened, whether the person who created the Lusitano quit or was fired or there was something, I don't know. All I know is the person who created the Lusitano did not sell the license to continue using the Lusitano to Star Stable, and they or either that or it was the creator of the Bark Hearts, either one. That is why they recreated Himani and Berkir, I think that's how they're pronounced, the tree wild horses. Because if you notice, the um, the magical Percheron and the magical Marwari are birch themed and cherry blossom themed. So were the two magical Lusitanos that were only in the game for one time and never again. Because they I think that they lost the ability to sell them because the creator didn't let Star Stable sell them again. Um, so the Lusitano is in the game. I don't know if we'll see the Lusitano remade, but that's just a little interesting lore drop. Is that I think one of the rarest horses in the game now are those Bark Hearts and the Gen 1 Fjords because um, the Gen 1 Fjord was the first horse to be truly removed from the game, and the Bark Hearts were a limited time magic horse that was only sold once. So, um, I do think they are very beautiful. They are a staple of Star Stable. I remember when these guys came out, everybody and their mother had one. I think these. Oh yeah, I think they were also one of the first with a special gate that enabled the horse to move. Um, the Mustang, the original Gen 2 Mustang Buck, I don't think it allowed it to move. I think the buck was completely stationary. You started at one point and you ended at that same point. Whereas the Lusitano had that walk or whatever it was, piaf, I don't know. It had that walk that allowed it to move forward, and it was an 8 beat going forward walk. Um, it was the only one of its time that did that. Um, Pioneered a lot for Star Stable, I think. So these guys, for how well they represented the breed, I do think they did extremely well. I think that the Lusitano gets bottom of A tier. Paso Fino. The Pasofino suffers from much of the same that the Tennessee Walking Horse does. However, it doesn't suffer quite as much. So, the Pasofino also cannot trot. They don't trot. Pasofinos do three gaits. They do the classic fino, paso corto, and paso largo. In the game, they do the classic fino and the um, paso largo. They don't do paso corto, or they do paso corto and not classic fino. Either way, there's one of those three gaits that's cut off. So what I think they should have done was have walk, paso, classic fino, then lope, canter, gallop, and then have the space special animation be the paso corto, and then the shift walk be your paso largo. And they didn't do that. Again, poorly represents the breed. The model's beautiful, but um, for that, it's going to go top of F tier because, again, they don't trot, and I think they poorly represent the breed. And I think kids would have truly been able to have a unique experience with these horses, and it was just cut off because Star Stable didn't want to commit. I just realized I didn't tie in a real life example of the Pasofino. Did you know that they're used in movies? Pasofinos are used mostly in Western movies such as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly because they step all the time and you can get a lot of really awesome horse stepping noises in movies, and it represents horses really well. The Cladripper, no, Nabstripper. That's what it is, the Nabstripper. The Nabstripper, it's a nothing burger. I mean, it truly is. Um, it the quality of the model is very weak for where it when it came out, where it was in the timeline. Um, it came out after some banger horses, like it really did. It came out around the same time that the Akalteke was released. It just it fell really flat. There's nothing to it. It has no special. Oh yeah, all of its animations, by the way, are ripped off completely from the original Gen 3 Andalusian, which we haven't reviewed yet, but um, all of its animations were ripped off. It doesn't have anything unique to itself. So honestly, I'm thinking bottom of D tier. Yeah, because it's more true to itself than the Shinkatik, so it's low D tier. Halflinger. I love halflingers. This halflinger is absolutely adorable. All the colors are true to the halflinger, unlike a future horse that we will get to. Um, it's cute. It's well done. It doesn't do anything special, but halflingers, what you see is what you get. There's really not much to halflingers. So, is it true to real life? Yes. Is it unique? Yes. But I don't think it's quite as unique as some of these other horses. So I think we'll go bottom of B tier. They're pretty solid. I love me a good halflinger. Dartmoor. Dartmoor didn't receive the hype that Star Stable I think was anticipating it to. Um, I did a review of Dartmoors. I think that they are pretty well done actually. They have they're like a mountain pony from England. Um, they were ponies that helped carry coal and stuff like that. Good little ponies. I mean, they were kind of released during one of Star Stable's dry spells, and then this came out and people weren't really too hyped for it. But honestly, for their model is pretty unique. It's very close to the Halflinger. That's the problem. The Halflinger and the Dartmoor have almost the same design and almost the same animations, so it's really hard to give it the unique points when it's so close to the Halflinger. But I do think they did a better job than the Halflinger when it comes to representing the breed. I think since both of them share basically all the same animations, everything anyway, they might as well be married together in B tier. Appaloosa. The Appaloosa was extremely well done. They they also came out with the halter bridles, and I loved that. I don't like how the halter bridles have metal pieces. The whole point of a halter bridle is to get away from the use of metal, so that was interesting. But they came out around that time. Beautiful design. I absolutely love it. The mane is nice and short. The tail is thin. I think the tail should be thinner because Appaloosas do have a genetic issue where they aren't able to grow a lot of thick mane and tail. It is extremely thin. Um, Sometimes you'll see videos of wild Appaloosas, and in the comments, the number one comment is always like, "What happened to this horse's tail? Did he get it stuck in a fence?" No, he's just like that. Um, I think they did a really good job with the Appaloosa, honestly. Um, it has its gated walk because some Appaloosas are gated, and I think this one was really, really well done. A tier for Appaloosa. The Morgan. The Morgan is again another horse that is so historically significant to the U.S. Morgans are a small little horse. They are the U.S.'s original cavalry horse. They were used primarily in the Civil War. Um, they're just a fantastic little horse. In Star Stable, they are represented pretty beautifully, like the nice thick tail, the stocky, steady build. Um, they don't have anything too unique to make them stick out, and I feel like if they had something, they would stand out a little bit more. So, I mean, they suffer from the same thing that the halflinger does, that they're represented very well, and they look, they look amazing. They serve their purpose, but they don't do anything really that makes them stick out that much. So I mean, like they're better than these guys. I mean, honestly, I think I'm just gonna stick these guys in C tier actually, because at least this, even this one, I mean, hmm, this is very difficult. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with this because the they are, although they are represented very well, um, there's just not a lot to them. Like I'd say like Star Stable did their job. They accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, right? I think this one goes a bit above because does it though? I don't know. Actually, I think this one might just suffice too. And I think the only reason that I'm saying that is because it maybe because it does have that special gait for like the cuteness factor, and it does have all the unique main styles, but so does, you know what? We're doing this. It's Morgan's top of C tier. I stand on B tier for these guys. But yeah, Morgan, I feel like Star Stable could have done them a little better, but like there's really, when I try and think about what I would have done to make the Morgan better, I can't really think of anything because Star Stable did what they could, but there's not really much they can do to make this horse that much more unique because Morgans are so intricately bred with every single other horse breed from the US that like this is their template almost, to where it's like how do you make the template stand out, right? You really can't. So unfortunately, yeah, I don't want to put them in C tier because I think Star Stable did an amazing job with them, but they don't have as many unique fact. You know what? I think I will bring this one down to C tier just because while they did do a good job, I think it's too much like the halflinger, and I think the halflinger did a better job at being it, uniquely itself. So I think this is what we're gonna have to go with. I don't really like the placement of these three, and I wish there was something better, but I also could have customized these, but I think that's what we're gonna have to go with. Like they did their job, but I don't think they did enough to make them like, you know, this is a unique, amazingly portrayed horse that Star Stable was able to do. Like these guys, you know. I don't think they're on par with these ones or these guys. These guys are untouchable in my eyes. Um, Cell Francais. What can I say? I mean, it's the only warm blood that was done kind of well. But seriously, if you lined up all the warm bloods, like this one, this one, and this one, if you lined all four of these up, the Cell Francais, Hanoverian, Dutch, and Belgian, I really couldn't tell them apart. Like, there's nothing to them, honestly. The Cell Francais is the only one that does not have any form of like. It wasn't just poorly portrayed, and it wasn't so boring that there's nothing to it at all, and it didn't have abuse portrayed in it. So like, out of all the Warmbloods, I do think the Cell Francais is the best. Um, I do think it has its place in Star Stable. I think, honestly, I think of all the warm bloods, this is the best one to get. Um, I don't think it's unique enough to put it up here to be like, if I blacked this out and gave you a silhouette, would you be able to tell what it was? The answer is no. Um, so I think that this will have to go the top of B tier because, like, again, it is very unique. They did a really good job with this one. I like how springy its animations are. The dolphin hops is unique, at least until they had it copied by the Hanoverian. The the rear is quite nice. Like, I think they did a good job with this one. I think that this is their best portrayed warm blood. So top of B tier, I'm pretty happy with that one, which is good because these other three are throwing me through a loop, man. Finnish horse. Okay, the Finn horse. It has a nice design. All of its animations were copied from the Jorvik Frisian. Its laydown animation is copied completely from the Jorvik Wild Horse. It has nothing unique to it, um, except its model. It's just, it's just there. Like, I don't know a single person who says this is their favorite horse. I don't know anybody who seeks this horse out when it's on sale. Like, this horse was, it's just not unique. There's nothing to this. Like, if you took this horse out of the game, I don't think anybody would notice. For that, we're gonna have to go like bottom of D tier. It's not quite F tier. It's not quite as horrendous as these guys, but it's not great. That's all I have to say. There's literally nothing else to it. The Belgian warm blood. It follows the same vein. I mean, like, the design is so unique from any other horse in Star Stable that it doesn't even fit in the game. It looks like they stole an asset off of the Steam store for this design. It doesn't fit in with the style of the game at all. It's too realistic looking. It all of its animations are pretty boring in my opinion. It doesn't have any special animations. Um, Genuinely, I think I might just leave it in C tier, like bottom of C, because like this is just the most. It's just there. Like it's maybe it's even D tier because the problem is it's not copying animations, or at least maybe it's not. I don't know. I haven't stared at a Belgian warm blood in forever, so yeah, I'd say bottom of C, either that or top of D. Yeah, bottom of C. They're just there. Like I don't get it. I don't like Belgians. I think they're extremely boring. Criollo. Criollo is another one of these horses that I think Star Stable did extremely well. Um, they did very well on this. The one thing I will say, it's not going to affect the ranking because I can't prove this, but there's this type of riding in South America and Central America called charro riding. It's one of those things again where it's the South American people where they basically torture horses and try and copy Western American style riding, and they do a very poor job, and they basically flood and abuse the horse into doing it, and it just sucks. So, like, the rollback that they do almost looks like it was a Charo style, but I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say that's not it. But they're so stocky, their patterns are beautiful. I think Star Stable did a really good job with this. I'm thinking, I'm thinking they're another A tier. I'm tempted to put them into S, but if the Saddlebred couldn't make it, then I don't think the Criollo can either. Um, I might even put them above the Saddlebred, actually. Yeah. Mules. There's only one. Okay, the mules are so unique. I love everything about them. I really do. The only thing that I can gripe about is that it's just called a mule. Um, if they'd have called it the standard mule or something like that, then they'd have been able to add more different types of mules. There are draft mules, there are gaited mules, there are like mules for like farm work. There's cart mules. There's like paddock livestock guardian mules. There's all kinds of different mules. So to just say mule and just blanket all of them and say they all fit in this box, they're like this is a mule. I feel like um, they really castrated their ability to add more mules in the future, which I don't appreciate. But if we divorce the idea of Star Stable adding more mules and being that boring with it, the mule itself, for what it is, so well done. So well done. Everyone's wanted mules forever. Now Star Stable knocks it out of the park. That's our third S tier. Mule is so fantastic. They're amazing. They just are. Mules are more sure-footed than horses. They are way more loyal than horses if you know how to train them. They are smarter than horses. They also, I've known a lot of mules that when you go trail riding, they are conscious of the rider's legs and they will make sure, and packs, that's why you use mules and not horses, is because horses will just ram your stuff into trees and they don't really notice. Mules will make sure that they can clear trees and go around trees without knocking the packs against them. So they're just very conscious creatures. Mules are fantastic. There's nothing bad that I could ever say about a mule. The Ardon. Um, I've heard it pronounced Ardon. I've heard it pronounced Ardines. Um, we'll just go with the Ardon. So the Ardon, I mean, it sits down like nearly every other horse in the game, so it's like not really unique in that factor. It's a chunky draft horse, um, kind of like the Shire. It's pretty cool. I liked it, but I think that yeah, and then like the laziness factor of it is really cute. How like whenever you're sitting on it, they look like they're about to take a nap. They're just chunky boys. Um, I think Star Stable did an okay job with them. I think the Ardagh is a little taller in real life, I think. But beyond that, I think they're B tier as well. Like they're not quite as uniquely done as the Shire, but you can definitely tell them apart from the rest. So I think they're about here on B tier. The Gypsy Vanner, Irish Cob, whatever. These guys were pretty early in the Gen 3. I think they're beautiful. Uh, they don't really do anything too unique. Their dance is really cute. I love their dance. There's not really much to say about them. I mean, the design is really pretty. I think their animations are a little out of date. They look really floppy. Um, I didn't realize these were supposed to be Gypsy Vanners until someone told me, so I think they fall kind of short here. Let me show you guys how beautiful and just elegant these horses are. Like Gypsy Vanners are so pretty. And they have these long flowy gaits and they're very like if anyone has seen The Hobbit, the scene where in the second movie where they run into what's his name? Beorn. He has Gypsy Vanners. Like I think that all of these guys' animations are too like they stop too short in the front. They don't let their legs kick out as far, and they aren't as flowy as they should be. I think that I think they're okay, but I really think Star Stable could have done better. And if they redo this horse, like there are better avenues of approach for sure. Um, I think that they are because they are well done for the most part. I mean, I'd say they're about the same as these guys. Like they fall in line with these ones. Kanemara. Again, extremely early Gen 3 horse. Their design is aged kind of poorly. They definitely suffer from a lot of what the Gen 2 horses did. They their legs look a little awkward, so do their heads. Their tails look like they twist at the top. I don't know. Like there's so much about this horse that's like I'm shocked that it's considered a Gen 3, honestly. Like I thought this was like the last Gen 2 horse, kind of the transition period. Um I genuinely think that people forget that this thing's even in the game. Um I think that this one honestly, there's not really anything I could say about it. It suffers from the same thing that the Nabstripper does, which is like, why is it here? You know, not much I can say. The Frisian, the actual Frisian. So This one is interesting because it covered through the controversy that the Jorvik Frisian fell into. So, the Jorvik Frisian was originally introduced to the game because Star Stable wanted to redo its Frisian because it was a huge moneymaker. Everybody wanted a Frisian. Oh my goodness, they wanted a horse they could charge an arm and a leg for, and it was the Frisian. Um, so they went above and beyond to make this horse like the best of the best, and it looked awful and everyone hated it. So they redid it and they made this. Um, this horse, except for the sorrel color, because Frisians cannot come in that color. Also, it has designs like the Frisians are pure black, just full stop. They're pure black. The one with like the gray on its face because it's old, that one's cute. The ones that are sun faded, that's fine. But the one that straight up has a star on its forehead, like they don't have that. Frisians don't do that. And the one that was red, yeah, some of them have that very rare gene that makes them a little bit red, but they're not like sorrel. So Star Stable just cannot get away from having 7 unique colors per horse, and I think it's crazy because like I think whatever. But anyway, by and large, this horse was very, very well done. It has the extended trot without the toe flick. It does the circle thing that the previous one did, but better. Its animations are beautiful. Its main styles are beautiful. The whole horse is beautiful. Um, this is one I think you could also point out in a crowd. I would give this S tier, but because Star Stable is so greedy and had to give it 7 colors, it did sacrifice some of this horse's authenticity, so it will be bumping it down to the very top of A tier. But still top of A tier, so not bad. Clydesdale. Another early Gen 3 horse. The animations on this horse are awkward. Its its head is a little weird shaped. It looks like a teddy bear to me. It looks very plush. It doesn't look like an actual Clydesdale. I think that they should have emphasized the sharper edges of these horses, the muscle, because like think of the Budweiser Clydesdales. Let me again reference images. So if we look at these, like, oh come on, don't be slow. Yeah, like look at these horses. They have a huge chest, a smaller rear comparatively. Their feathers go all the way up. They have beautiful, very wide flared feathers. They have like a almost like a doorstop look to them, where like they come to a point here and then they flare up. So they have like a big triangle. You could draw a triangle on them here. Look at how high up those feathers go. Look at how look at these steep angles of the feet. Look at the Roman nose. There is like they do have a more like plush shaped head, but it's not to this extent that Star Stable is. I think that this horse is an extremely soft and poor representation of a Clydesdale. Granted, I don't like all the stuff that Budweiser does, but Budweiser does have very beautiful horses. Like these horses are some of like the top of the line when it comes to a Clydesdale representation. Um, I think Star Stable really fell short. Again, it was early in their time, so like the representation wasn't too great, and I don't think they landed well on players. They don't really fall up to par with all these other ones. So honestly, I think, let's see, where would we put the Clydesdale? In terms of like realism and uniqueness, it is kind of up there, but at the same time, like, I think they kind of suffer from the same thing that the Halflinger does in a way. But, see, I don't know. Like, I think they made the rear ends too large and the chest not large enough. See what I mean? Like, they have a giant chest and a kind of small rear end comparatively. And this one, they have a larger rear end and a smaller front end. It is the picture, it is tilted, but it's the same thing. It kind of, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know. I mean, that one does kind of have a big rear end, but you see what I mean? Like, look at how deep these chests are. That's a deep-chested horse, and this doesn't have that. So, I'm gonna go top of D tier. Because, like, it's close, but no cigar, you know? American Paint horse. I recently bought an American Paint who looks a lot like this one. Not quite, though, but yeah. I love me an American Paint. Um, I think they were very well done. Extremely, extremely well done. Um, I'm trying to think of anything that I could say that would bump them down out of S tier because they were beautifully portrayed. They are a Western horse through and through. They move like it. Granted, they have the same fast backup and the same rollback as the American Quarter Horse, but they are super unique still, and have some of the best animations in the game. I don't like putting two horses with the exact same special animations in S tier because again, it's like, are you really top of the top if you are copying animations? Ah, that's tough. I'm I want to put them in S. Is there another S tier in the rest of this list? There is. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to change that then. We're gonna go top of A tier just because it has the same animations as the quarter horse. And I mean, maybe. No, I can't think of any reason to bump them down out of S tier. Like, they're very unique. You can pick them out super easily. They're beautifully done. They are great. They genuinely are. The original Gen 3 Andalusian. When this horse came out, the first thing I thought when I bought one was, oh my. They didn't look great, honestly. Their heads are really weirdly shaped. Their faces have a weird. They're not well done. The mane, when you had any other style except for the original, would like cling to their neck and wouldn't be affected by the wind when you ride. Um, Granted, the Spanish walk was beautiful. Their Spanish walk is absolutely beautiful. Their rear is quite unique, but it's all the same animations as the Nabstrupper. It's still all of its animations from this horse here. Um, they're cool. I do like their trot. I like the Spanish walk. I like their rear. I think their gallop is really interesting. Their canters, they're pretty cool too. Their lope is alright. The walk is okay. I mean, their animations are fine, but like the body. And the colors were faded too. Like, I got the black one, and when I went to get it, I'm like, this is just gray. I think all their colors were kind of. They left a lot to be desired. I don't know who designed the coats for these horses, but they didn't do a great job. Um, I think they kind of fell flat, but they are still pretty unique to Star Stable, and you can still point them out pretty well. And I don't know, like, I think, uh, again, they're unique, but they weren't really well done. But they are unique, and that's the thing. So, I'm thinking D tier for the same reason that the Clydesdale's D tier, because it was poorly represented, like poorly designed. It was represented well in game, but it was poorly designed. So I think those two have to stay together. The Jorvik Wild Horse. I love this guy. It's unique. Wow, you can't compare it to any real horse, but it's real enough looking that it could be considered a real horse. Like, if one day this was proven to be a real animal, sure. Except for like the wolf mane, that one obviously not. But like with this design right here, this hairstyle, sure. Like, I love this horse. It is the most unique animal in the entire game. Star Stable did an immaculate job with it. It is unique. It is recognizable. Easy S tier. Easy S tier. So easy. The new Black Forest horse. Um, I was very pleased with this horse. I think they did a great job. The animations are beautiful. The design is beautiful. All the mane styles are so cool. The ability to have ferns in its mane and everything. The hug your horse. Very cute. Everything about this horse is very cute. But I don't think that it has anything extremely unique to itself. It looks honestly like a better halflinger. It really does. Um, but I'd say it was pretty good. there's not really anything about this horse that you can look at it and say, "Oh, I know that Black Forest horses are like this because of Star Stable." So that does kind of knock it down a few points. I think it is the same thing that the Ardent is like it's a beautiful design. It was represented extremely well, but it still is like there could have been something more. You know, there could have been more. So I think, and it's new, so I don't want the fact that it's new to skew my vote because I think they were extremely well done. Everyone really loves them. They are super cute, beautiful. Like you can do anything with them, and I feel like they're pretty unique to Star Stable. But I feel like they blend too much with the Noriker and things like that to where you can't really pick out something super unique about them. The Jorvik Frisian. The day I have to talk about you again. I did a video on these. So their animations are awful. Every single one of them. Especially their walk. So when I worked with the vet, one of the things the vet said was when you're looking at buying um a thoroughbred, you want them to have that swagger in their walk. You want them to really be moving when they walk, to look like they have a good sense of what's going on, like to have that oomph, right? They must have taken that and driven that up to 11 because these things have such a ridiculous walk. Um, you can tell these were just made for money and for profit because they gave them like the big fancy trot and all the dressage moves to try and make this like the best dressage horse. And then they went ahead and gave it like the super wavy mane and the super exaggerated rear that goes on for 30 seconds because we want it to be the best horse for wild role plays and we want everyone to want to use it. And they gave it the goofy smile because like it's going to be the cute horse that everybody loves. Like they just put too much into this thing and it ended up looking really bad and it was awful. And they also gave it all the colors because they were like, hey, to heck with all this realism, this is going to be the Jorvik Frisian because on Jorvik they can be any color they want. It was just F, but not as bad as the Tennessee Walker. F. That one was ridiculous. Percheron, Percheron, Percheron. Percheron is really cool. I think their design is extremely unique. Out of all of the draft horses, I think the Percheron's the most unique. They even got the butt right. Like Percherons have like like someone cut the top of their butt off. It like slopes down really far. It's really boxy. It's super up in the front and has that beautiful the beautiful bog trot. It just they did such a good job. I think the Percheron is honestly the best of all of the drafts. Yeah, I think they did such a good job. I can't think of anything bad to say about Percheron. I think it was really, really well done. Um, is it S tier though? The Percheron wasn't anything revolutionary or groundbreaking, and it's kind of just as good as all of these horses here. Like this is a solid group. Like honestly, we could slide these guys down into B, but like these guys are amazing. Honestly, I think Lusitano is A, but just barely. I think Arabian is actually bottom of A. I think this is more accurate. Honestly, Shire's down here too. This is yeah, I like this. I like this order. It's just solid. Norriker. I think Star Stable was just trying to play it extremely safe with the Norker. They didn't do anything groundbreaking. They didn't do anything crazy. I know it has a special move, but I'm blanking on what it is. I think it sits down like every other horse, so I'm taking points away for that. No, this one doesn't sit down. It's the one that bows like the Marwari, but we'll let that slide. It doesn't change my rank. But the coats are very unique. I appreciate that. I think they did like the spotted coats of the Nabstrupper, but better. Um, it doesn't have any crazy animations. It doesn't do anything off the rails. I think that this one was done just to be safe. That Star Stable really wanted to play it safe with this horse, and they didn't. That's the problem. There's nothing unique about this horse because they didn't do anything to make it unique. I think that the Noriker and the Black Forest horse are basically identical. I do like that you can put flowers in its hair. That's pretty cool. But I mean, there's not really anything about this horse that's that unique. I just it's just here. I feel like it's just like these other guys, like it's very well portrayed. Like the design is beautiful, but there's just nothing, you can't point it out in the crowd, you know? So I think that it's not that great. The Jorvik Mountain Horse. Is there a question of where this one's gonna go? There shouldn't be. So, mm, above or below the Lipizzan? We'll go below, just so we don't make people mad. It's Star Stable's only gated horse, only real gated horse. They had two chances to make gated horses before this, and they failed. This was the only time they did it right. It's the Rocky Mountain Horse from America. They renamed it the Jorvik Mountain Horse. I don't even care. This thing is truly gated. It doesn't trot. It has a running walk. It's just when you press space, you get like the little cardinal feather that you put in its mane, like a true bonding little thing. And I think that's what led to like the hugging the horse, because people loved that you could put the thing in its mane and like bond with the horse. And when you put the those cardinal feather in its mane, it stayed there until you reared. So like you could, I'd done full championships with cardinal feathers in my horse's manes. Um, I do not have a single bad thing to say about the Orving Mountain Horse. This thing was so. Star Stable did an amazing job modeling it. All of its coats are simply gorgeous. I own every single one of them. They portrayed them beautifully, and they're so well done. They're so unique. They're just fantastic, top tier. So good. The Mustang. They did a really good job, I'd say. They redid the old Mustang very well. The buck is really cool. They are a very wild looking horse. The coats are all very pretty. I don't like that they have both a buckskin and a dun. That was kind of redundant to me. I know they did the dun, or I know they did the buckskin to look like Spirit, but then they had a dun as well, and then they have like the I know that they did that to like for Spirit as well as the Camillo to be his mother and stuff like that. So like I don't really know what to say about the Mustang. It was very well done. People love it. I think they could have had a few more coat colors that were a little more interesting than the ones they chose, but by and large, I think they did a really good job. I think they did A tier, I'd say. It was pretty good. The Andalusian, the remade one. This one, I gotta say top of A. For the same reason as these ones, is that it was extremely well done, but I don't know actually. Hang on. If you have been paying attention to what time it is, you'll notice that I've been interrupted and this video has taken like 4 hours. Alright. Any more interruptions? Good. So, let's finish this off with our last two horses. Um, so, this one's interesting because I think this might actually be S tier just because it was beautifully and very well done. I think. Oh my god! So, I was able to put this one in S tier because it had a copied gate. I think then this should be able to be in there too because it does have the same fancy trot as this horse. But I can't really think of anything that would put it lower than S tier. Like it was beautifully done. It was the redone version, and they didn't do what this one did and put fake coats on these horses. Granted, I don't know if they can come in all those colors. Colors aren't really my strongest suit, but I know this one doesn't come in that sorrel color, and even if it does, I don't think you should put it with all the others as if it's that common, especially considering they added the Frisian sport horse. I think they should have just saved the sorrel to be a sport horse because it's beautiful as it is, but you know. So anyway, I think this is willing of an S tier. Finally, the curly. The curly is quite an interesting one. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of its animations. I do love its gated. It is gated, but it trots, so it falls into that same issue that the walking horse and the paso does. That it's gated, but Actually, are all curly horses gated? In all fairness, I don't know that much about these horses. So that one looked like it was trotting. Um, can exhibit various gaits. Not all curlies are naturally gated. Okay, so since not all of them are gated, we won't hold that against them. But it's like this horse where the Appaloosa, where not all of them are gated, but they can be. So okay, that's fine. Um, the curly, its design is all right. I think it's cool. I like it, but I feel like they could have exhibited some of its traits more. There are things about it that I don't like. I don't like that when it runs. This horse actually has a beautiful like way to see it. See how like the belly, there's this tendon that connects this leg into the rest of the body. Um, this stretches really far, and it just looks like the leg is connected to the stomach when it gallops. It's really awkward. Um, its animations are okay, and it does fall into that like teddy bear plush looking one as this did. These two, the Curly and the Clydesdale, came out relatively the same time. So I'd say it has to fall into that. It's one of those horses that if you asked somebody what the Curly was, I think there are players who genuinely don't know what the Curly horse is and that it's even in the game. I think they probably could have done more to exhibit the uniqueness of this horse. I think it's there and just it fills a void, it serves a purpose, and I think it's gonna have to fall in with the rest of its timeline as a D tier, honestly. Um, or maybe not. Maybe it can go a little higher. I mean, I might put it up here. I mean, it does fall into like these three came out like roughly close to each other. They do have that same style, art style, but it's kind of like these guys where it's passable. You know, it's passable, but it doesn't do anything extraordinary. Like that's what all of these horses are. The C tier is like it not quite but all right. You know, not quite but all right tier. So I think it fits amongst these pretty well. Not quite but all right. I could yeah I could. I'm happy putting it there. So everybody, this is the finished tier list. Um, let me know what you guys think. Did you get anything similar or different? I am flexible on a lot of these. I'm not flexible with F tier, especially this horse. This bottom of F, delete it from the game. Yep, this would be my tier list. Um, yeah, this is this is how it would shake out if it was me rating these horses. You'll notice that like I do hold most of these horses were done pretty well. It took a lot for me to put them in F tier. If I had to redo any of this order, what would I change about my opinions now that I see the whole list played out? Um, I'm still on the fence about putting the paint in A tier. I think it's fine in S. I think these two are fine, but these are like loose S. These are like between A and S. Um, these all are fine. This one, I think I'm gonna put this one to the top of A tier. Actually, I don't know if I can put it above the Frisian because the Frisian is beautifully done. Actually, no, I can't. Frisian was just too well done. Um, I think American Saddlebred is a little bit above Criollo. Um, I think this is all pretty good. Um, I think, yeah, no, that's good. Um, I still think the Self Francais is just, it's good. Zoni's good. All of this is good. This one I'm still on the fence about. I'm almost tempted to put the Black Forest horse down at C tier, but I do think it was very well done. I think that um, it is unique enough to be considered a B tier. Um, the rest of these are solid B. The Halflinger might even be C tier, but I don't really know. C tier, I'm honestly completely happy with. Like these are horses that they had a purpose and they filled it, and that's it. D tier is they had a purpose and they didn't quite get there. Um, yeah, This Andalusian, the face is really weird looking. The Clydesdale, the chest is too small. It didn't really look like a Clydesdale. I think they could have done better. It is older too, so I'm not gonna hold that against it too much. Um, I think actually the Jorvik pony might be top of D tier or maybe even bottom of C tier, just because the pony. No, I can't. Again, I can't actually. I have to put it back where it was because the chunkiness is like promoting health issues. So I think I am gonna have to bump that actually down lower into D tier. Um, Thoroughbred. Honestly, I think I might have to bump Thoroughbred up to C tier, above most of these guys actually, because like it's a very beautiful design. It's very well done, but just the animations aren't there, and it just doesn't do enough to pass as a thoroughbred. Like it looks like a thoroughbred, though all things considered, it really does, but it just it's just not quite. It's not quite, but all right. It belongs in this tier perfectly. Um, yeah, I think actually I'm gonna retract what I said and say that yeah, English thoroughbred is like up here with these guys in C tier. Um, Gotland is still just it's just there. I don't know anything about it. It's not very unique. It's whatever. Marwari, again, the only reason it's in D tier because the the Dutch is in D tier because of the abuse that Star Stable neglects to address. The Marwari would be um honestly I'd put the Marwari in like B or even A tier if it wasn't for the the abuse that it supports or that it's like on the verge of supporting and how easy it is to find animal abuse just by looking into Marwaris. I'm not even going to do it because I fear that it'll yeah. Um the Connemara, it's just there. There's really nothing to say. Like there's nothing notable about any of these. Especially the Shinkatig, like they just did a bad job on that one entirely. Um the Paso, again, it's a gaited horse. I understand that you can train gaited horses to trot, but that's not the point. The point is, if you are making a horse game, you want to exaggerate the traits that make your horse unique and make them, distinguishable. You want to be something that can stand out amongst a crowd, right? Sure, you might say that the quarter horse looks halter bred and has poor conformation, but you can pick it out in a crowd. Okay? And honestly, the quarter horse conformation is not that bad. Yes, it has a slight downward slope, but the knees and the hocks are even. It has a good head carriage. It has that slight downward slope. I used to judge horses. Um, I used to actually I judged conformation for quarter horses and for thoroughbreds. So like I know what I'm talking about here. I'd have to look at the quarter horse a little more closely in game to tell you about its conformation and see if I think that how it would score, but generally I think that exaggerating these unique traits make it better. Like again, the Marwari, all of the exaggerated traits. It is super unique. It's such a good looking model, but it's so easy to find problematic things if you just look into these horses even a little bit because of the way that their people treat them. Hanoverian just missed the mark entirely. Jorvik Frisian, you were literally just a cash grab and everybody knows it. Um, I can't even talk about this thing anymore. They disgraced this horse so bad. But yeah, as for my A tiers, like it's so hard. Like this one, I can see it being lower, but I think it serves its purpose really well. I'd even argue that the Self Francais might belong in A tier. It's either bottom of A or top of B, and I think I'm more comfortable putting it at top of B. Um, just because there are so many other warm bloods that it like kind of detracts from the uniqueness. It's not quite unique enough, whereas this one doesn't have too much unique like abilities, but it's very unique looking. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. The Mustang, it's the Mustang. There's not too much to say there. Lusitano, I already went over that. I'd even be fine with bumping the Lusitano down, but it is so unique. Like, and it has that Star Stable feel to it, so I'm fine with it there. Icelandic, extremely good. Like this whole section from here up, I am extremely happy with these guys. These first one, two, three, four, five. These first six in A tier. I'd if you had an argument to put them in S tier, I might agree with you. I might even do it because like it wouldn't take much to convince me. Um, these guys I think are pretty solid A. You have an argument to put the Self Say in A, absolutely. Um, oh, you can edit from here. Oh man, I didn't have to do all the settings. That makes it so much better. So yeah, I mean, I the ones that are really hard for me is from like the Black Forest horse, the Ardagh, the Welsh, the actually the Welsh. We'll move the Welsh up here. Welsh is I think Welsh is pretty solid on B tier. Maybe even yeah, but like again, the what is this thing called? The Black Forest horse, the Ardagh, the Halflinger, the Dartmoor, and the Morgan. I can't. They are so hard to place. It's definitely between B and C. Like it truly is. Um, for sure. So like you could argue with me on a few of these. I could see where you would place it, and I would change my mind. Like my mind is very flexible. But when it comes to these guys being in S tier, like you could argue to put the Paint and the Andalusian in A, and I'd be fine with that. But these five here, top five S tier, absolutely top five. They are not moving. Same with these guys down here, like my F and then the Tiny Sea Walking Horse. These guys are fine here. I'm not moving them. But the rest of these, you could make arguments for sure. Um, but yeah, so this is my finished list. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you have any controversial opinions or if I addressed any controversial opinions. If you want to see any of these moved, if we want to do a part two, if we want to do a Magic Horse edition, that'd be really cool. Let me know what you guys think.